the meaning of our patch as we designed it and as the ideas that we put into it. We felt certainly at Apollo 17, in spite of the fact that it's the last flight in the Apollo program, is really not the end, but rather the beginning. It's sort of a conclusion of the culmination of what we consider man's greatest achievement, certainly in our lifetime. And looking in the future, these achievements and the potentials of them have literally no bounds. So we have a bust of Apollo, of the god of Apollo, on our patch. He represents not just Apollo, the Apollo program, but we feel that he represents, in the figure that he gives us on our patch, mankind himself. Represents knowledge, represents wisdom. And Apollo is looking out into the future. He's not looking behind. And he's not simply looking at the moon, someplace that mankind has been, and in a sense has a goal that mankind has accomplished. But he's looking on beyond the moon and into the future. We have, along with him, up in the corner of our patch, a golden moon, sort of representing a golden era of space flight that we are bringing to a close now. Superimposed upon this moon and alongside the bust of Apollo, alongside mankind, we're a little bit parochial. We have a very contemporary American eagle whose wings are colored with the blue and covered with the red stripes of our flag, and we have 3 white stars indented into the top of this eagle's wings. And the significance there is to remind us, not just in this country, and as I say, parochially speaking, the rest of the world, that the achievements that have happened in this past decade were not by accident. America brought us where we are today, and the United States of America is going to lead us into the achievements and the accomplishments of the future.
I feel the prime mission objective is the continued Apollo exploration of the Earth's frontier in space, which presently is at the moon. And that entails many sub-objectives. Most important of this particular phase of lunar exploration is the surface activities, where we are trying to characterize or continue the characterization of the lunar surface. And also, secondly, the regional characterization of that surface from orbit using a variety of remote sensing equipment, as we call it. We've been training for about 12 months, maybe slightly longer than that. It's hard to remember once you get involved in this thing how long you've been working on it. But of course, the training for any spaceflight mission begins several years before that. And for me, I guess the concentrated training for spaceflight began with Apollo 15 in the December of 1969. Site selection in all the missions has been a fairly long and drawn-out process. It entails utilizing, or the utilization by NASA, of a number of scientific advisory groups and the inputs of many individuals across the country, scientists primarily. The Taurus littoral site in the northeastern part of the moon, at the edge of one of the large lunar basins called Serenitatis, was selected primarily as representing both a new part of the moon, which we had not explored yet, and having 2 major features that would allow us to hopefully complete, as near as that is possible to do, this first phase of lunar exploration. Those features are the edge of the Serenitatis Basin, which is exposed in some 6,000 to 7,000 foot mountain fronts, where we have a very strong possibility of finding some of the oldest, if not the oldest, rocks that have so far been sampled and observed on the moon. And it also has, appropriately I think, the dark mantling deposit that is potentially some of the youngest volcanic rocks that we've seen on the moon, possibly even less than 1 billion years old. Now,